Shadows of the Republic, Episode 1, Lines in the Sand.
Written by 1601, The Storyman.
The sky over Washington, D.C. was heavy with rain. Not the kind that merely soaked the streets, but the kind that made even the strongest marble statues seem to tremble under its weight. Inside the Capitol building, tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. Congresswoman Nia Adams stood in the middle of the press room, her hands trembling slightly as she held a folder close to her chest. Her voice, when it came, was calm, but fire lived behind her eyes. "This bill," she said, raising the document, "is not about protecting democracy. It's about controlling it." The room erupted in gasps and camera flashes. Bill 1459 had been rushed through the floor with quiet precision, dressed in patriotic language, and clothed in the disguise of national security. But Nia had read between the lines. She had found the truth buried in the fine print, a clause that would quietly silence the voices of millions of voters in minority districts, and she wasn't going to be quiet about it. Across the city, in a cigar-scented back room lined with dark wood, an older man, Senator Raymond Cole, swirled the ice in his whiskey glass and watched a broadcast from a muted TV. "Ambitious little lioness," he muttered, eyes narrowing. "But ambition doesn't win wars. Power does." Raymond had spent decades building his influence, quiet meetings, untraceable deals, and debt sewed in the shadows. To him, this wasn't politics, it was chess. And in his mind, Nia was nothing but a pawn pretending to be queen. But the game was changing. In a hidden office just outside the city, FBI agent Dana Ruiz scanned through financial records glowing on her screen. She had been chasing ghosts for months, offshore accounts, anonymous donors, and encrypted emails. And tonight, the pieces began to form a face. Tyrone Blake, a tech mogul turned mystery. His money touched both political parties, his influence invisible but undeniable. He hadn't made a public appearance in 3 years, but his digital fingerprint was all over the upcoming elections. And then, the breach happened. At exactly 11:09 p.m., the national election server went dark for 13 seconds. It's just long enough for one swing state to go completely offline. No one saw where the votes went, but someone, somewhere did. Back in her office, Nia looked out the window in the rain. For a moment, she thought about her father, a man who had once marched for voting rights in Atlanta. He used to tell her, every ballot is a bullet in the war for justice. Now, the war had returned, and this time, it wasn't fought in the streets. It was fought in suits, secrets, and shadows. End of Episode 1.
Subscribe to 1601.
The Storyman to watch Episode 2, Enemies in the Mirror.